The following is a special on-location edition of Higher Journeys. Philanthropist, wellness master, entrepreneur, and let's not forget, four-time NBA champion. John Salley is the personification of success. Long after his illustrious career as professional athlete, Salley has championed a spectrum of causes near and dear to him, not the least of which is his fierce advocacy for a vegan lifestyle. When I sat down with him on location at the 16th annual Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles, we managed to pack in a slew of subjects, everything from cooking to cannabis to cognac and even his brush with the afterlife. This was a spirited conversation, to be sure, and it all happened in under 30 minutes. Today I am here with the champ, lifelong champ, former NBA champ. You're still a champ in many people's eyes.
Champ is here.
Champ is here.
Yeah.
But you are a champion. We just finished talking offline, John Salley and I. You are championing more things than I can keep track of, and we just finished talking about your wonderful trip over to Sri Lanka. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the vegan thing. We're going to talk about the spiritual thing. We're going to just tie a whole bunch of things together, all in 30 minutes. First, I want to just thank you for being here. You are awesome. We're going to talk about soul food, right? Mm-hmm. But we're not talking about black-eyed peas and chitlins and ham hocks and greens that are cooked to death. And you know what I'm talking about, even though they taste good. They do taste good. I try to make mine a little more al dente, but they still got the spice in there. But we're going to talk about food for the soul, live food, and how that connects to the spirit world. You know, I've been following what you've been doing for quite some time. I admittedly am not a vegan, although I like good. I'm a gardener, and I have a feeling we have a connection there too. So I love growing my own food, and I know
I do like greens.
Yeah, I know you gotta love the greens. but let's talk about, John, live food versus dead food, and how that actually affects our spiritual life. Now I know that's a broad question. When you really think about the spiritual world and our connection, we are spirit, right? Spirit is really nothing more than breath. But I would imagine that what we put in our bodies really have an impact on the extent to which we can connect to that world. Don't you think?
I think even further than that.
Okay.
I know you're such a smart lady. That you only still eating flesh only because you like it sometimes.
We're not going to talk about that, but
right. Because like when I say to people, like this is our avatar, right? And our spirit is inside the avatar. It's just like with an animal. But in order for this avatar to live, I don't need another avatar to die.
Right.
And when people are talking about being spiritual, they would understand why would you need to kill anything and feel spirit strong. So that's mainly, and I believe everything in the cellular thought. When you talked about soul food, you know, the food you mentioned, the chitlins and the fried chicken, that was slave food for us.
Absolutely, that's true.
And it really doesn't feed it.
Now it's a delicacy, right?
Right, so let them tell it. But like my girl Erica Badu said, you know, vegan food is soul food.
That's right.
Because it literally feeds your soul, because it is food that is alive. It is food that literally has nutrients, has oxygen, has hydrogen, has everything that you possibly can need to feed your body to give you the best fuel that you can possibly have.
Right, that makes perfect sense. I mean, as I'm thinking of, you know, when we think about the vegetables that we consume, the majority, I don't know about the majority, I don't know the breakdown, but there's a lot of water in vegetables. Well, guess what, folks? We're in excess of 70% water. And
if you're lucky.
Yeah,
if you're lucky.
But, and then we can talk about dehydration too, and the fact that we don't take in.
We only got 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know.
You can go to johnsalley.com to get the rest.
Yeah, okay, all right. But we went. We'll have that plug. We'll have that for sure. But listen, we only have 30 minutes, but if you can give me the short sheet on how on God's green earth did you go from probably chitlins at some point in your life, maybe not chitlins.
Never chitlins.
Okay, but you know, the carnivore lifestyle to where you are now.
It is a crazy, crazy thought because they got in touch with me to go to a Salley family reunion. This is where the slave master's descendants and the slaves' descendants, they still got a thing called Chitlin Strut, this Salley, South Carolina. It's a place called, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna punch you in the chin or hug you. I don't know which one to do. And I said, a Chitlin Strut. Yeah, we race the pigs and then we have the best tasting chitlin.
Goodness.
So I never showed up. But how I got to the point of being a carnivore and realizing it wasn't, my friend Jennifer Johnson, JJ Dancer, a really great trainer, she said, you say you're a vegetarian, but you eat shrimp and turkey burgers when you're hungry and there's nothing else around. So that's not a vegetarian. And she goes, but you always talk about you're a man of your word. And I'm 42 years old at that time. I was like, you're not gonna talk to me like that. She said, you mean the truth? And that was it. And so I became a vegetarian.
So she challenged you.
Yeah, I've been a lying vegetarian since '91, and I had gotten up to 290 pounds. And I don't, it was like when you get older, you get heavier. No, you get heavier because you eat more foods that have saturated fats that aren't good for your body.
Right.
And then since I knew about the body and I loved being in the same shape that I was in, and I didn't want to be any different than that, I just focused on it. And it was so funny, little Indian boy say, you become what you practice. And it was so crazy to hear it come out of his voice.
Right.
If you practice joy, you're joyful. If you practice love, you practice spirituality. If you practice hate, you're hateful.
Absolutely.
You are what you practice.
Yeah.
So, and like I would say, my mother said, practice what you preach. So I preach spiritual awareness, conscious thinking, mindful eating.
Mindful eating.
All of those things, so I have to practice it. And the more I practice it, the better I become at it.
You are becoming one with the food.
Oh yeah, I don't want. They said, you're one with the universe. I said that's when you disappear. I still.
Right. But I heard. I'm gonna say I did hear you say that you like to have a little cognac once in a while.
A lot of cognac.
A lot of cognac. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I stand to be corrected. Okay.
Gotta
have a little fun.
Well, see, it's so funny. They're not killing
That's
any.
That's Two-Spirit.
Right.
Right.
That was, that's why she's interviewed. I was definitely shocked. But no animals had to die for me to enjoy cognac.
Right.
I don't, that was it. And
that you know
red wine, we can get into that red wine, but that dark liquor is just part of my system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love cannabis. So I
know you have talked about that. Talk about that for a minute.
Okay, so I got into the cannabis business, which is it's called a marijuana business. And then my daughter Tyler was going to American University, and it's a lot of money per year. And she decided, you're spending money on this business that I have to take classes in, and that's not what I'm going to do. So I'm going to sell weed. And I was like, She said, but not just any weed. I'm going to sell premium cannabis. So we started a company called Deuces 22.
Wow. And
we launched pretty soon. She's a 21-year-old black entrepreneur in the cannabis business. And even to the point of picking the paper for her pre-roll joints is from Prague, and it burns even, and it's all flour, and she knows the grain. And I was like, wow. And I want recycled packaging, and I want the ink to come from here. Like, she's so eco-friendly, and the quality. She said it's bougie, but it's quality. and I love that she's even thinking that. She's thinking, why should I smoke somebody else's when I should have my own?
Absolutely.
And so I got into it, and now I'm doing a deal with Julian Marley's company, Juju, and I'm going to be working with that company in my own brands too.
Wow.
So my daughter will have a brand. I'll help her champion her brand, get it up and
That is
going.
beautiful.
Then my brand.
We have to get a picture of your daughter if we can. Well, maybe we'll put it up for everyone
definitely.
to see.
No
6'2".
6'2" and beautiful.
Now, is she a vegan as well?
Yeah, everyone that lives in my house is a vegan.
Is that a mandate?
It's so funny. I don't, not as much as I used to. See how I caught it? Not as much as I used to. Am I that much of a control freak? But there's not going to be a dead animal in my refrigerator. There's not going to be a dead animal on my dishes or on it's my house.
Right.
It's my lifestyle. My wife lives the lifestyle, and
That's
the people
great.
who live there have to respect that, or they can't live there. That's all right. That's fine, right? They can have whatever they want in their house, but in my house, that's the way it's going to be.
I'm chuckling because
you know I had to word it. I had to word it a certain way.
No, but the next question I'm going to ask you, I'm going to start getting silly. We're a little jet lagged still from, he came in from Sri Lanka, me from just Boston, but still a little jet lagged. So I'm getting a little giddy. Do you associate with people that are...
that eat flesh? I do know some zombies, flesh eaters. I know some flesh eaters. But it's like Walking Dead. Certain ones you can't hang out with. No.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Well, okay, go ahead.
I do know. I will be around them, but I don't eat with them.
Okay.
And when they do, like if you catch me one time and we're going to a lunch and you eat that way, that's fine. I just won't eat with you again.
Okay.
I believe everybody should be and do whatever they want to do, but I'm not going to be
There's
the part.
an energy exchange that's going on, right? I mean, we're sticking with this theme of connectedness to spirit. Now, I'm not at all insinuating that for those like myself who do consume on occasion some flesh, that we're not connected in some form or fashion. Don't say anything.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama decided he was no longer vegan too. So
yeah. This is a very big subject, by the way, right
all
now.
paths
A lot
lead
of
to
country.
God.
Absolutely. But to your point, John, is you're saying, who you break bread with, there is an energy exchange going on there. You're having conversation. I mean, everything is energy, right? So I'd imagine that the food that you're consuming, if there isn't a continuity with that, then there may be a break somewhere in that energy flow. So I can see what you're saying there.
Yeah, I
can.
It's just personal. And then I like vegan restaurants. I like supporting the lifestyle. Raw food. Raw food is, I'm 80% raw. I juice.
I'll tell you a story offline about
that's really where the alkalinity comes, not in the water. The alkalinity comes in the perfect kind of salt. There's a salt here called miracle salt that literally alkalines the water. The salt does, and everything else it touches. So, and I'm not so crazy about it. It's just I prepare everything I'm going to put inside this body.
Right. Do you have some sort of, I know that there are people who talk to their food. Well, I talk to my plants. There are times I talk to my food as well, thanking the food. The food is alive.
Yeah.
The food is conscious. Have you heard of the movie The Secret Life of Plants?
Yeah. The reason I know how it is and why it works is, okay, so the plant gets, the photosynthesis, that goes inside of our body. If you eat an animal after it's already eaten a plant, you don't get the benefit of the photosynthesis and the oxygen.
Right.
So that's why I don't eat animals, because they're acidic, and they will leave a living being. They have skin, they have hair, they get nervous, they have gas, they have sex. I'm not eating that. It's just like on my Instagram, some people got really upset that there was a picture of a billboard and it had all these animals, and then it was, after one animal was a line. I said, where do you draw the line? Because if you're eating chicken, fish, beef, you're eating an animal, whether it's a horse, a dog, a cat. So if you say, I love my dog, I love my cat, I love my horse.
I gotcha.
You understand? So,
Yeah.
But I eat a chicken and I eat a bull and that makes no sense to me. You love them so much that you eat them, So that's where I get it from. I draw the line that no animal should be food.
Here's the other thing that I wanted to broach with you, John, and this is a very serious thing. There's so much awareness that's happening in terms of the cruelty that's done to animals, whether it's for preparing for market or otherwise, but the way in which they're slaughtered and the fear that is instilled in them prior to. This is a big thing for me. We won't get graphic with it, but very heinous ways of killing, and the shock and that adrenaline that's going into these animals. Well, what do you think is happening once we ingest it? We're taking in that energy on some level too. And I thought about this. You know, we live in a world that's perpetuated by fear, that pushes fear. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the fear and the shock that the animal may suffer prior to being killed, we're ingesting. That's not helping our level of fear.
Right.
Now, I know that's kind of heavy, but does that not make sense?
It makes sense, but it's also crazy when they say killed humane in a humane way, which it's inhumane to kill.
That's an oxymoron. Kill and humane.
What they said,
That
it was
doesn't
like,
even make sense.
Right, it was like, and I said that, I was like, it's not humane. It's not. It may be human to be at fault, but
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. There's no humane way of doing that, of
Right.
killing. Just doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. But we don't want to talk about that.
Right.
It's just my choice on how I feed my body,
Right.
what I
Well,
feed my body.
well,
But everybody should do what they. My mother's 94 years old.
Is
She's
she
been eating
really?
meat since.
And she
God
still
knows.
is.
Well, not when she comes to my house. Which she tells
well,
people, when I go to Johnny's house, I lose 20 pounds.
I think I may need to come to your house.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna lose. You're gonna lose weight. You're gonna drink good water. Air is gonna be as best as I can possibly have it.
Right. That's beautiful.
It's the living environment.
I'm so happy to hear that. I am. You might convince me to go a little bit farther in that direction, but yeah.
The animals, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're wonderful. We don't have too long with John today. He's about to be giving a talk called "The Beta Life Path." It sounds like you're from Boston. The Beta.
Better. Well, it's like Spike
Beta
Lee's
Life Path.
Mo Better.
Mo Beta.
I got it from the Mo Better Blues. What happened is better eating today, tomorrow, always. Being energy today, tomorrow, always. It's so many things you can throw into it.
Absolutely.
And I became a master of habit change when I became a health coach, and it just changed nothing. Nothing changes. Change everything. Everything changes.
That's true.
So if you want to lose that 20 pounds, and you want to be that.
Did I say 20?
Yeah, well, I told my mom when she
He's
said
my
that.
new BFF, by the way.
Yes, when she said that, I was like, "Really, Ma?" She goes, "Yeah, you got bird seeds and lettuce." And I opened the refrigerator. I ain't seen so much green since I was in the garden. I was like, "Exactly."
You're a gardener.
Yeah, she made me a gardener too. It was so
Love
funny.
that.
She used to come with me to the garden. I'd be mad because I didn't want to go to the park. It's only gonna be an hour, Johnny, and I get there in 2 hours, and I'm sitting there, working and tilling the ground.
Yeah.
But it was a trip to see how we laid it in, how it would rain,
Right.
cucumbers, tomatoes, squash, and how much better it tasted.
Absolutely. Well, I can attest to that. And my audience knows how much I love to garden. I can't wait to get. We're already planning the plot, but got the collard greens, got the kale.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. And that too, to me, is just a very, it's a sacred process, just getting your hands in that dirt and,
Yeah.
And I have actually gridded my garden on occasion with crystals.
Really?
And it is actually, I really feel, helped to boost the yield.
Yeah. This conscious expo we're at is amazing to walk around.
It is.
There's
The
no
expo.
windows.
Yeah,
But
that's
it
right.
seems
You're
like
absolutely-
which is amazing. There's
No,
no
that's a good
windows
point.
anywhere. But the energy in here, you do not feel suffocated.
Yeah.
And people say, "You feel the energy?" I used to be like, "I don't feel no energy. I don't know what you're talking." Everybody's talking about it. And then I opened up to it. Like we went and we picked out
We
this
went and picked
wonderful
this out. Yeah,
crystal.
amethyst.
And I don't know how he's going to get it back, but I told him
it
might not make it back.
It might fit in
It
my
might fall
suitcase.
off the back of
You
the truck.
just brought some stuff back from.
Yeah, Sri Lanka. I brought back Sirius, the blue sapphire.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I tell people, I've done it all. I got the diamonds, but just the things like the gemstones, the crystals, real flowers. Life is wonderful.
Life is wonderful. We're about to close out, but I would be remiss, John Salley, if I did not bring up that famous I'm being facetious, that amazing story that you told on, remember Celebrity Ghost Stories, everybody? That was a fabulous series. I can't believe it's been off the air for probably a decade now. But I have to be honest with you, this is what really got me, when I found out that we would be meeting up here, I'm like, I've got to talk to him about this. You gave an absolutely hair-raising story that you shared about your best friend who saved your life, you feel. I don't know that you want to recount the whole thing.
Name was Lloyd Harrison.
Yeah.
I was in a nightclub. See, they made me say nightclub. I was in a strip club in Atlanta called Magic City.
Oh, you didn't say that.
They made me not
really?
say it.
Really? Oh, you heard it here first, folks.
So,
okay.
I was at Magic City. If you're in Atlanta, you had to go to Magic's. Cameraman, all the cameramen are like, yeah, I'm going in a few minutes. No, so I'm in Magic City, and I'm with my boy Mike, and some ruffling is going on, and this Boston kid named Bobby Brown is at the front. And Bobby back then was the bad boy of hip hop, of R&B. And so Bobby's up front, and he had the VIP, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden some ruckus is going on. And then they come in shooting. And my boy Mike goes to grab me to get me out first. And of course, like, you know, I used to always say this, you know, white women always fall in horror movies. I fell. I literally turned around and was falling. And the security guard grabbed me and had me like this and was helping me out and blocking me at the same time. I was trying to stay low. And when we get out the door, push the door open, I go turn around and look at it, and it's my best friend Lloyd, who got murdered in 1984. And I'm looking at him like, Lloyd? And he was like, get out of here, Sal, and close the door. And then when Mike comes busting out, and I said, did you see Lloyd? He goes, I didn't see nobody. Like, he didn't see the security guard grab me and get me out before him. That's how he was like, how'd you get in front of me? And he goes, how were you outside? I said, the security guard, Lloyd, you did not see that? And he was like, Sal, you're tripping. And we run down and I'm parked in the front and I get in the car. I said, dog, that was my boy Lloyd, carried me out of that joint.
Oh my gosh.
And Mike was looking at me, he was like, whatever, man, drive. And I never forgot it. That was the weirdest situation. Now, Lloyd got murdered the night of Motown 25. It was one of the happiest nights of my life and worst nights without me knowing. And because I was watching Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye has just come back. My boy is Smokey Robinson. I love Smokey.
No, Smokey too. He's a good guy, actually.
I'm so like into that music and that Motown life, and I'm playing. You know, I wound up playing in Detroit. That's how much I loved it. And my boy Lloyd got murdered the same night. So it was a crazy time.
Yeah. And
I think about it. That's the only time I really had a direct eye contact with a spirit that's been on the planet before, that even looks the same as it did. So that was a crazy thing.
His image came through as three-dimensional.
Yeah,
right?
It came in as human.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
It's not the first time we've heard this sort of thing, but you never cease to be amazed when you hear something like this. So, and I remember I just was able to see the clip or the segment that you did just recently, and in the beginning you say something like, I've always believed in ghosts. I've always believed in the spirit world. I believe in these things as much as I believe in the sun shining right now. So this is something that you had sort of a proclivity to, I think, prior to. And I do believe that those who tend to see these sorts of, or have these sorts of experiences, have a connection to it already. So he knew that he could present himself to you and literally save your life. So
Jesus said, it's the power of believing. Right? When the man said, Lord, Lord, heal me. He said, do you believe I can heal you? He said, yes, then you are healed, because it's in what you believe. So they make jokes about it, they make movies about it, they make television shows about it. You can feel it. You can walk in a place that has had crazy feelings in it or bad things happening, and people who aren't even known to be connected connect.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's there.
Yeah. You're a special guy, John Salley.
Look who's talking.
You've Mutual Admiration Society here.
Yes.
I do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
I hope this won't be the last time we get a chance to
Hey, that's on you.
chit-chat.
That's on you. I've been waiting.
John Salley, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will talk to you real soon. Take care.